Hi everybody. Never really done this before. I'm doing a screen capture, a screen recording from my MacBook. And I'm hoping I can just toggle back and forth between this, which is like photo booth, so I can talk to you, and then Photoshop, which is here, because I want to do a demo in Photoshop and teach you a couple of basic skills. Okay, so I'm going to get started. I've got the basic image of Don Quixote here. He's been beat up somehow. He's in bed. I don't really know what the story is, but I'm going to find out, and so are you guys in class, because somebody's going to write about it. Anyway, I just want to start by showing you basic skills in Photoshop that you can use for this. Photoshop is really, really dense. I mean, there are a million things you can do in it, and I only know a few of them. But you only need to know a few to do this project. So I'm going to teach you how to select and cut out part of this, then sort of put it in its own, in a different document to kind of use those isolated pieces. I'm going to show you how to manipulate those, like make them bigger, smaller, trying to reorient them, duplicate them. And then I want to also show you about the layers palette and how to use that to kind of organize your images. Okay, so let's take a look. So here we are in Photoshop. The Command key plus and minus will zoom in and out. And so I'm going to grab the tool. The first tool we're going to use is up here, upper left. You see this? It's called the Polygon Lasso tool. It might just be on the Lasso tool. When you go to it, click and hold to pick the Polygon Lasso tool. And so to use this tool, I'm going to like click, 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 click. I'm going to create a little fence all the way around what I want to cut out. And those little click, click, clicks are almost like you're using your scissors. So I've looked at this guy, and there are lots of interesting shapes here. You don't try not to get hung up on the images. You're just trying to look for interesting abstract fragments that you can use. So for instance, I kind of like his cuff. This is a cool, just looking at his cuff right here, kind of a cool little chunk. You know, I like how it sort of like wraps around. It's got really dark areas and light areas, interesting shape. So I'm going to start using my Polygon Lasso, and I'm just going to go like click, click, just going right along the edge here, click, click. I don't have to be too precise. Click. Hope you can see this okay. You'll see what it does and just, oh, boogers. All right. Oh, man. Okay, start again. Sorry. Click, click, click. Yes, I just said boogers, you know, instead of, you know, or something like that. I wouldn't want to say that. I said boogers. Okay. All right. So click, 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 click. I feel like I have to make the sound because my little touchpad doesn't actually make a sound. Click, 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 click. Now when I get almost all the way around the fence, the little gate is about to close. You can see the little circle next to my Polygon Lasso tool icon, so click it, boom. So now you've got this little sort of selection, this little you know, cutout area. So I want to move these. I want to cut these out and kind of move them to a separate document. So I'm going to create a new document in Photoshop, which is just, you know, File, New, and drag stuff into that. So File, New, and the truth is, I'm going to change pixels over here on the right to inches. Ultimately, your size is going to be 12 by 9 inches, so I might as well set it up right now, 12 by 9 inches. Okay, so here's my new blank Photoshop document. And look, up here you can see the tabs. Here's my blank one. Here's my old other image. So here it is. So in order to move this guy, now I got this kind of selected. I'm ready to cut it out. I got to go to the upper right and get the Move tool, which is this little arrow up here. So I got to click on that, go back and grab this guy now. So if I click and drag it, I go up to this tab and hold on, take it to the next document and then drop it. Boom. Look, there it is. There's my guy. I can move him around. Right? So I'm going to go back to the other thing here. Now I have to hit Command D or go to, where is it? Edit. I got to go to, or to select and go to deselect. See, it's Command D. Because I got to sort of get off that. I already I don't want that selection anymore, so get rid of that. Now again, back here, my cuff is still here. I'm just holding it there for my palette. Like I'm gonna use it. And then back here in Don Quixote, I wanted to show you, not only would you use the polygon lasso to cut out a particular funky shape, and the great thing about this cuff is you can't make this crap up. I mean, look at this. I would never have invented such an interesting, weird, cool shape. But you're not stuck with the eccentric or unusual shapes that are in here. You can just take a chunk of it. You could take a little square piece or a little round piece. So look, upper right, up in the toolbar, I'm going to go up here. These are called the marquee tools. By default, it's on the rectangle. If you click and hold, it goes to the ellipse. So let's say I want to get some circles. So all I'm going to do is get on here. Let's say I want some of this kind of gray. I want kind of some gray circles. I'll zoom in here. And if you click shift while you drag it, it'll make it a perfect circle, rather than like an elliptical shape. So I'm just going to click, get a round selection. I don't know if you can see that there, but look, if I get my move tool again, and I move this out, you can see I got a perfect circle going on. So, okay, so there's my gray circle. If I zoom in, you can see it's from Don Quixote. It's not just blank computer gray. I might want to get a range of so I got to go select, deselect again. Okay, I'll make a new circle. Make one. Oops. Well, I got to get the marquee tool. Upper left here, I got to get the elliptical marquee tool. So I'm going to get a kind of a lighter circle. Now remember, I'm going to be able to duplicate these and use a whole bunch of them if I want. So there's another lighter circle. It's not that much lighter, is it? It looked lighter. It's a little bit lighter. I'll go back in there. Let's get a really light one. I mean, again, hold down shift. Okay, and get the move tool. Get back in here. Okay, there's a light circle. And you can see there it is. So I got a light circle, kind of a medium circle, a darker circle. Could be a square, could be a rectangle. I mean, one cool thing, one thing I would use a lot, I tend to, are kind of strips of color. So I'll get a rectangle, get the rectangle marquee tool, and just get kind of a long, skinny, kind of medium value rectangle, kind of a grayish. I'll move it over there. See, I like these because it's easy to use this to make a kind of a stripy pattern, which is kind of a good background. So I've got a few forms here. I mean, maybe I'll get one more cutout shape. I don't know. What did I do? This hand is crazy. I like how these lines are kind of around here. So I'm just going to get my polygon lasso. I'm going to cut out kind of an interesting shape here. I'm going to follow the contours of Dore's drawing. Be a little bit inventive in how I cut it out. I just like how funky and bony these old fingers are. Okay, so I'll get my move tool. I mean, my shapes I work with don't have to be anything in particular. Where are you at here? You coming over? Come on, bony old finger. Where'd you go to? Okay. Move tool. Bony old finger. Got it. Okay. Over here. Drop it. Oh, there it is. Okay, there's the bony old finger. It's kind of a cool shape. I don't know. It's not as cool as my cuff. Okay, so I want to show you how to work with these now. I'm going to zoom in on the cuff. Now the easiest way I know how to manipulate these, and if you know anything about Photoshop, you know that there are about 17 ways to do everything. So if you know Photoshop and know how to do this differently, go for it. Fine with me. So look, to move it around, I'm in the zoom tool. Now if you want to duplicate it, very important, very important, very important. At least on a Mac, if you hold down the Option key, I'm not sure what the key, but there's a keyboard shortcut for this in the PC too, just find it. Hold down Option, click and drag, it duplicates it. Hold down Option, click and drag. You can do this all day, man. Now I did want to, I'm going to go back here and show you something before I get too far with this. I'm just undoing. Over here on the right, I've got something called the layers palette up. See this over on the right? Really, really important. And I think it's helpful right from the beginning to label some stuff. So if I click on this guy and move him around, you can see it shows this is the layer. If I hide it, it confirms, yep, that's the layer with the cuff on it. So I'm just going to double click on the words layer 1 and rename this cuff. Now it's not important that it's a cuff, it doesn't look like a cuff anymore, but that lets me know what it is. You know, and this guy, I can click on this and I can call this, you know, stripe. Oh. Because that's sort of what I have in mind. Or I could call it stipe. Stripe, okay. That's this guy. I'm going to make him stripes, you know, like boom. So I can create a kind of a striped pattern. Anyway, I'll call this guy, hold on. Okay, this guy I will call light circle. And this guy I'll call dark circle. Come on. And the reason I'm doing this at the beginning, just trust me, man, it is worth it. I'm going to call this one medium circle. And what's this one? Oh, that one I'll call bony ass finger. Okay. Because what you're going to do is start duplicating these, and it can really be helpful to have a name associated with them. So now, if I want to create a pattern, you know, I can create a polka dot pattern just by, remember, hold down Option, click and drag. And I'm just duplicating my circles by holding down Option and clicking and dragging. I can also go into each one of these and change the size of them, and I'll show you that in a sec. But as I do this, if you look, you know, if one shape is in front of the other, it'll, you know, depending upon where the layer is over here, it'll overlap the other shapes. Okay. So let's talk about resizing. This is not the only way to do this, but I kind of think it's the easiest. To bring up the free transform option. So if I click this circle right here, if I want to shrink it or change the orientation, Command T puts this box around it. Command T, and you can take the corners of the box and move them in or out to make it bigger or smaller. I can also rotate it, which with the circle doesn't make much of a difference, but with the cuff, you can imagine it would. So you can, then you hit Enter, and it takes care of it. So you can, you know, Command T. It's free transform. You can make some bigger, Enter, and make some smaller. So whether you have overlapping or not, you could still create some variety pretty easily in terms of your polka dot pattern. Or maybe it's not polka dot exactly. Over here, same thing. If I were to take the cuff, hold down Option, click and drag to duplicate. But then I can go to each one and hit Apple T. I can shrink them. Oops. Shrink them. Enter. I can change the orientation, so I can flip it around. What a cool, interesting shape that makes when they sort of touch one another. What I'm going for here is the ability to create abstract pattern, and that's really what you want to do. You're starting out in this project with recognizable images, these illustrations. I mean, sometimes they're fantasy, but they're realistic in terms of how things are depicted. And part of the process is you're going to be abstracting them. You're going to be creating an abstract composition. So that's the basics of kind of cutting things out and working with them. I think that was what I wanted to show you. Just checking my notes to make sure I didn't leave anything out. Okay. Signing off. I can figure out how to end this screen recording.